I'm here with Jasmine. She's from Maidenhead, and let's just talk about what's going on. Tell me about you. Where you're from besides Maidenhead. What do you do? What's going on in your life?
Okay, so I'm originally from Pakistan, a
Yes.
tiny, tiny hamlet in Pakistan, in the countryside, and I came to the UK when I was about 3 or 4 years old,
Okay.
and so I'm from migrant parents, and amazing, amazing parents, considering they came with nothing,
Okay.
right? And there's five of us, we're five siblings, and what I do, so I'm a bit of a hybrid or a unique in that sense. So I'm a project manager. I'm a qualified nurse. I don't do nursing anymore, but because the NHS is so close to my heart, I do a lot of project management so I can stay close to helping. It's always been there. Whatever industry I've gone into, I've always gone wherever there's a big group of people so I can just connect with people.
Okay. All right.
So that village thing is still there. It's almost like I'm building villages wherever I go. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
And you mentioned immigrant parents. Like, what was that like growing up, and what do you think that did to you as a person?
What was it like growing up? It was quite tough because my father came first, and he did everything. He has such a strong work mentality. He would, be a labourer, he'd be doing springs, he'd be whatever it took. That chokes me up even still.
Really?
Whatever it took. Because I was born in Pakistan, my two brothers were, and my younger sisters. You can see the slight difference between me and them.
Why?
They were
What's different?
in sense of how they grew up in the UK, so their sort of way of being is slightly different.
Okay.
Whereas they graft just as hard, don't get
Okay.
me wrong, right?
Okay.
They graft just as hard, amazing women. And it's just there's a slight difference of I guess that mindset, I guess what I'm trying to say,
Okay.
is when you come from nothing, you see your parents struggle. They are illiterate, shall we say. They can't read or write. They can read and write their own language,
Okay.
but not
And it was
English.
painful for you to watch your dad work so hard.
Yeah, because he wasn't there. He wasn't really there. It was always like, time to do the homework or something, and he wasn't present, per
Okay.
se. My mum always doing the cooking. She was a housewife, so it was always like, Dad, so
Okay. So you kind of miss him,
Yeah.
or missed
Yeah.
having him as a father around, but he had to work all the time.
And my way of connecting, I was really clever. My way of connecting was to basically help him. Like, he did a lot of handiwork at home, was to get the nails for him or something. And I was like the little tomboy who could go, here, Dad, this is a nail, here.
Okay.
So it was like a way to connect
Gotcha.
with it.
Okay.
So,
And what do you think you struggle with right now? What's your biggest challenge? What's frustrating in your life? What are you trying to do and not able to do?
so many things.
Okay, pick
So
the
many
biggest
things.
one.
The biggest one for me is I want to work for myself. I
Okay.
work so hard. I work my butt off. I do a lot of consultancy work, so freelance. I go from one job to another
Okay.
in the UK, up north, as a project manager or a commissioner or a contracts manager in the NHS, in local government, in the private sector. And it's always where the most people are, but it never leaves me as fulfilled as I could possibly be, which is set up my own business and help
Okay.
people.
Okay. And what do you think is stopping you from setting up your own business?
This little
Well, let's-
voice in my
in your
head.
head. Well, let's try it, because you're a lot like a lot of people. When it comes to doing it, they get stuck in their head,
Yeah.
and all these fears bubble up, and they sometimes come from weird things in their childhood, and also weird sometimes relationships with money that maybe come from your father and
Yeah.
your mother. Do you think that's at play here at all, or worried about people judging you? What do you think is the thing that stops you?
It's amazing because the way I grew up was always around money's really hard. Like my dad, even coming as I think he was in his 40s. My parents got married young, so there's three of us, those 3 mouths to feed, and
Right.
plus my mum, right?
You're getting
So
really
there's
emotional
always-
thinking about being so poor.
My heart is in my
It's
throat.
okay.
but
It's okay. But why does that make you sad? Are you just thinking about how you guys had no money?
Yeah, just, even like kids these days, they see a toy. I was watching a recycling where they throw all the rubbish, these plastic toys and stuff
Right.
all thrown away. And I was like, oh my God,
Back then.
we didn't have this.
Right.
You guys are so lucky. Thousands of pounds worth of toys. And I was like, I didn't have that.
And that was painful in your house because everybody was stressed
Yeah.
about money all the time.
Yeah,
and that it kind of infected the situation sometimes.
Yeah.
So mom's yelling at dad, or there's tension in the house.
There was always tension.
And you grew up with that tension.
Yeah.
And you think that's still inside you somewhere.
Honestly, yes. Because when I see waste, I'm like,
It makes you
recycle
mad.
stuff. And I'm like, whoa, calm down. Where did that come from?
Okay.
Relax.
All right, I see.
It's not yours. You didn't pay for it. Calm down.
Okay. All right. So it's this really weird kind of hang up with waste. And what about scarcity? I mean, do you feel like there's like a scarcity mentality it is when you think there's only enough stuff and I have to try to save everything and I worry about there not being enough in the world?
That's amazing that you should touch on that, because that's why, for somebody who's not as old as I probably look, that's why I have silver hair, is because I went through such a stressful period where that whole thing about shock and it turning silver, it did. And I've had this silver hair for probably about 10, 15 years. I did the whole dyeing thing, whatever. And it's
did
that.
the dyeing thing?
Yeah,
What is
a
that?
dyeing, as
Oh,
in
dyeing.
colouring.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
right. No, that's okay.
Colouring my hair in
Okay,
essence.
all right.
Trying to cover it up. And then it's all from that. I didn't realise I was like that.
Okay.
That I thought I was like, oh, abundant and grateful and da-da-da. I realised only in the past year or so
Yeah.
that I'm not. I really do have this, oh, you've got to save this. Why are you wasting it? Why are you doing?
Right.
And I catch myself thinking, oh my God, I sound like a right nutter. It's not,
Yeah.
it's okay to spend on me. It's okay. It's, you know, I can go to like, I don't know, Selfridges or Harrods, and I don't have to buy a whole bag full of stuff.
Yeah.
I can just buy something, you know, small, and it'll be okay.
But you're getting these relationships with money from your parents.
And I didn't even know.
Right. And they did an amazingly beautiful, noble thing. I mean, think about how hard your father worked and how your
Yes.
mother worked. Otherwise, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even be here in this
Right.
country. And so, but unfortunately, they passed on these habits about money and these thoughts about money which don't serve you.
Right.
Imagine, if you don't figure this out, I mean, imagine the rest of your life if you stay in this thing, you know? I mean, like, it's going to get worse and worse, you know, and it sounds emotional.
Yeah. For me to have a lump in my throat it's not normal. I'm very happy and sort of go lucky.
Okay.
But behind that, there's
And
this
where does that
always-
lump come from? Because thinking about it makes you, is it like a visceral reaction to not having enough, or what is it?
Yeah, because I guess for me it's like, why do I do that? I know there's plenty in the world. There's plenty. Why do I behave like that? Why do it's almost like I'm fighting myself. Like there's this voice in my head, and I just think, well, I could have that. I could have loads of stuff, right? The great, like good food, as opposed to going to a more low, not a lower end, but more a cheaper supermarket and buying supermarket brands, when I know I could afford an extra £1, and I just think I earn a good salary, and why do I do that?
I don't know. Can we do an exercise now, and can you talk to Jasmine from me?
Sure.
Seriously. You can pretend like I'm her.
Okay.
And tell me the way it should be. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Say, Jasmine, you need to stop doing this. Can you do that?
Yes.
Try it.
Jasmine, you know that you've got a great salary, that you're really deeply loved. You don't have to go buy the cheapest food. You don't have to go buy the cheapest clothes, or, you know, do the cheap, not go out because you're trying to save, right? You don't have to be like that. Look at your life. Look where that mentality's got you.
Right. Where has it got me? Tell me. Where has it got me?
It's left you unhappy in your head and disconnected from yourself and from others.
It's affected relationships too.
Affected relationships
How?
too. As in, people keep coming to you and you just go, no, I haven't got time, when really you're being miserly. Right. If you break it down, you're being miserly. And because you're hurting other people. Isn't it time to let go?
How's it feel saying that stuff?
Amazing. Because I didn't realize there was that love there.
There is love there.
And that compassion there for...
I mean, for yourself.
Yeah, I didn't...
You're not sure sometimes if you do love yourself, right? But you do,
Right.
right? I think it is a lot about loving yourself, you know? Because
Right.
if you don't love yourself, because you must hate that part of you somewhat, right? Because you don't like it, because it doesn't serve you.
Right.
But you need to be able to love yourself, you know. But again, it's not your fault, you know. It just took these habits from your parents who were trying to do great for you.
Right.
And so you should love that part of you, you know. It makes you a survivor, right? I mean, you're a survivor, you're a grafter, you said that earlier. You're a badass. You'll always survive.
Right.
You should be proud of yourself for that, you know. A lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people would probably, you know, go get, you know, help from the government and go live with their parents. But you're not doing that, right?
I think why I feel bad is I've always had this bad, as in I've always felt like I have to be a man. Like when I was helping my father, right? I'd always feel like, well, there's a word that we use. We speak Patwari, which is not Urdu, the sort of more refined one. It's a dialect, basically, from where I live.
Yeah.
And I always felt like I had to be a man to be able to survive in this world. Right. I feel like I've lost my femininity.
Right, because you take on those masculine traits.
And I feel like I've always, so even you saying badass, I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm survivor. It's got this really harsh connotation, as in I've gone through the mill.
Well, surviving for an immigrant family in a new country requires masculine traits, doesn't it? I mean, that's why your dad went out and got that stuff. So it's natural that you took that stuff on because that's what kept you guys around. But it's not serving you anymore. So these masculine tendencies and the scarcity mentality, it's not serving you, and it's actually making you worse and worse and worse. And you can see it physically, right? Your hair, I like your hair. But I mean, like, you can see it and you're looking at it, and yet you're still stuck in those patterns, you know? And so I think this is really powerful. First of all, that you could tell yourself that. And I think it does start with love. You know, you have to love yourself. I had Anita Morjani, one of my favorite guests on the show, and she said, Brian, before you leave the house in the morning, if you don't love yourself, it's almost like not taking a shower. Because when you're around people, there's something yucky about you. You know, there's something gross about you. Because if you don't love yourself and you go into a project management meeting, everyone's like, well, Jasmine, she's smart, but there's something, I don't know, I don't feel great. And then you go to the supermarket or you go see a friend or you call someone and something's off about you because you don't love you. And that infects,
Whoa.
I know, it's really powerful. And I think that's what you bring into all these interactions, you know? And you don't,
right.
And you don't know that, and no one knows that's what it is, but they know something's off, and you know that something's off. And you're like, how come that didn't work out? How come I can't get along with that person? I think it's because you need to love yourself. And so what we need to do are a few simple things going forward. First of all, we really need to recognize that this is happening, and this is your base level, okay, of not loving yourself enough, of reverting back to this scarcity mentality and these masculine traits that can serve sometimes. Right. Like you said, well, I'm a grafter, I'm a hustler, I'm a survivor. We know you are, okay? Right. You don't have to do that as much anymore. I think we need to work on the other sides, you know, the abundance, the gentleness, and the loving yourself. And that's when you're going to blossom. You're ready to go, you know, but it's going to be resistance every day to fight this, all right? I call it resistance training. So every day you're going to have to wake up in the morning and know Jasmine's default is to do the other things, which is I'm scarce, I don't really like her, I don't know what's wrong with her, but I'm going to get on with it because I'm a grafter, I'm a survivor, right? Your dad taught you that.
Yeah.
And I believe you will survive no matter what, okay?
Right.
But I don't want you to get to the end of your life at 80 and realize that Yasmin's alone and unhappy and never connected and never got to all that stuff, because you deserve that and you can have that. So from now on, the new version of you is, first of all, the abundance. Now, it's easier to say than do, okay? Abundance is hard. I still struggle from abundance. I still want to save. You know, when I'm a saver. When I was in the city, I was always saving. Am I going to have enough until I die? This is a real problem for me. And you're like, well, how can a banker have that problem? But it was a problem. I would think in my head, well, if I don't work for 40 more years in my life, and I take my savings account, am I going to have enough to live on? And I'd be like, no. So I would walk around scarce. And like, scarcity can happen for people with $1 million in the bank or with $10 in the bank. It can happen, and it can infect your life. And the other day I had a realization, and I told a friend of mine, I was out to dinner with him, and I said, you know what? I am never going to worry about money the rest of my life. And this was a guy who was a very successful computer scientist. And he said, no, 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 I have to worry about money. What if we lose our jobs? I'm like, that's a scarcity mentality. I know that I'll always find someone that wants my energy, my ideas, my feelings. And so from now on, I'm no longer going to be the Brian that used to worry about London Real ending, I lose my leg, and now I have to live on savings and support my family. Do you want to live your life that way? I don't want to live my life that way. I want to be optimistic that in the future I'm always going to find something, because I love myself. I know I'm a wonderful person, and I'm always going to be able to add value to someone's life. So I'm always going to be abundant with relationships,
Right.
love, money, opportunity. And you've seen people in the world that float through life. Have you seen those people?
Yes.
Right? And they always get these opportunities.
That's so
they make
true.
money. They have great relationships, right? They have the beautiful families and all that stuff. Now, some of the Instagram, you can't believe all of it,
No,
but we know
but in
some of
real
it's
life,
true.
yeah.
But it's because of their mentality and their energy. So again, like we said earlier, when you had that look, they walk outside the house and they love themselves. And they have abundance and they believe in themselves and they're positive, and then those things happen to them. And I know that's true. Because with London Real, it's changed my mentality, and all these things have flowed to me. So this is what we need you to do. We need to purge all of these bad thought patterns in your head, okay? And we need these affirmations every single morning, and you have to stick to these things. So first of all, you need to look in the mirror and say, I love you every morning.
Yeah.
And really, and I need you to tell everything you love about
Right.
yourself. I love you, Jasmine. I love your gray hair. I love that you're a hustler. I love your crazy childhood story. I love your quirkiness. But I love you at the end of the day. And I even love you even though you have these weird defaults of scarcity, masculinity, whatever it is. Okay, I love that. But we're going to change some things today. And it starts off with, I live in abundance. Anything I spend is going to come back to me 3x. Really. I know that scares you even to say it, right?
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, I've had people in here like Grant Cardone. He says, money is not to be saved. Money is to be moved. It's like energy. If you don't move it, it dies. And I think that's actually true. And I need you to start saying that. There's an abundance of money. You live in one of the greatest countries in the world, one of the greatest economies of all time.
Yes.
And you're a grafter. You're probably very good at project management.
Yes.
And yet your mentality is probably keeping you from being successful. So I need you to say, I'm embracing abundance. There is so much money in the world. There are so many opportunities in the world. Everyone wants to work with me. If I lose a job, I'm going to get 2 more jobs. And that I am going to go out there and live in this abundant world. There is not a scarcity of relationships, of money, of people, of jobs, of projects. Okay? That's another important thing. Okay, and then the next thing you need to do is you need to embrace these characters about you that you want to embrace more. I'd say this feminine energy is really important, you know? So yeah, we know you can get the job done, we know you can graft, but we also want to know you can nurture and cooperate and love yourself and enact these other feminine traits. And I'd like you to make a list of 5 of those traits, and I'd like you to do something every day that embodies one of those traits. And it could be something small. You know, maybe it just means helping someone or reaching out or doing something special for yourself. And, you know,
Right.
you probably don't do that much.
No, because I am so used to doing it for other people.
Yeah. Well, you need
Right.
to. Yeah. Well, we need to find a way for you to treat yourself. You know, and I think maybe spend some money on yourself. You know, and maybe that's a way of you telling yourself you're not worth it, but you are worth it. So maybe it's time we spend some money on yourself and get you something that you love to wear, or God forbid, get you a massage or get you the spa.
Right.
And I don't know, I think these mental shifts are going to make a big difference into what is in that future. So I want you to try this stuff for 30 days, but like you have to really believe it and say it. I have a list of affirmations I say out loud every single day.
Right.
It's every one of my fears, I reverse it into an affirmation. So
Wow.
I used to be afraid of social situations. I'm actually quite an introvert. And my affirmation is I love social situations because everyone there is kind and warm, and I always get great vibrations when I go there.
Right.
After saying that for 2 years, I actually love social situations now. When I was worried about spending money on London Real, I said, I am excited and comfortable to invest capital in the brand of London Real. That's when I said it this morning. And now I do it. I used to have a scarcity mentality. And now I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. I do this every day. These affirmations are really powerful. So
Wow.
I need you to do that. And then every day is resistance training. You're going to have to resist your natural tendencies to go back into old Yasmin. But it stops now. You've said this. It's on camera. It's on tape out there. But now this is on you. You have to take ownership and responsibility. You can't go back to the old her. We don't like her, right?
No, I don't.
No, I don't think she's serving you. That
She's
Yasmin,
not.
she's not.
No.
And you know she's
Yeah.
not. So we have to get rid of her by taking actions every single day. So say those things to yourself. Take action about those things. And let's think about that abundance. And then I'd like in 30 days for start to thinking about what that abundant business looks like, you know, because then I think you can make that transfer into that business. And I'll finish with one thought. One of my mentors says we have two bank accounts, the emotional bank account and the financial bank account. This is my mentor, Dan Pena. You're talking about starting a business. I want to start a business to get the financial bank account up. Most people do.
Yeah.
But most people don't have the emotional bank account that's ready for that. Have you heard the story when someone wins the lottery, they make £1 million, and a year later, they're broke?
Yeah.
Because they don't have the emotional bank account. They don't think they deserve the money, maybe, right?
Yeah.
they do all the wrong things with it, and their subconscious ends up, they give it away, they spend it, they gamble it, they drink it away, and they're back to state one because they didn't have the emotional bank account. They weren't ready for it. So I want you to work on that emotional bank account that says, I live in abundance, I'm ready for these opportunities, I deserve these opportunities, I'm loving myself, and I want you to try that out. And once that emotional bank account starts to rise, I want you to think about what that business is. But there's no point in me trying to teach you about how to do business right now.
That's the irony of the business, is because I tried different things. I wanted a business about forgiveness, and then no, I didn't resonate with that as much. Then I wrote a book about gratitude that really, really took me out of my shell.
Okay.
That did well, but I'm not advertising it. I'm not really putting it out there. And when I tell people, they're like, "What, really?"
Okay.
And I went, "Oh, yeah, really."
Why aren't you though? Why aren't you talking about that thing?
Because people will think, "Who does she think she is? She's really full of herself," and
Okay.
they'll see this masculine side of me promoting myself, and
you don't like that masculine side of you.
No, because it's almost like I used to dress in suits. Used to work for a utility company.
Okay.
Did project management again, and I would dress because there were men. They would hire mostly men, and they have a few women in there, but there were very few dotted around. I dressed all in black, really expensive suits, all in black, just to fit in with all the guys. And I thought, my God, what am I doing? So wearing a dress today, these past few months, for me, it's a breakthrough.
Okay, all right.
So
but this also, imposter syndrome, you think, who are you to be able to talk about gratitude? That's something we should talk about as well. Because if you wrote a book about it and it's really good, I would ask you this question: who are you not to talk about gratitude? What about that Yasmin out there that doesn't understand gratitude? Doesn't she deserve that book? Doesn't she deserve you to change her life? She does, doesn't she? I mean, think about all the women out there that are stuck with your problem, You're not helping them because you're being selfish, because you're like, I shouldn't be masculine. I know.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, think about that. That's really important. Every time you feel something self-conscious or you're going to be judged by one of your actions, think about the people you could be helping and really think about their stories. Think about the Yasmin that's in a really bad state, maybe where you were years ago, and that literally where everything looks dark. If she could have your book, you could change her life. That's when you need to take your powers out and say, actually, I am going to talk about this because I'm good at it and it's going to help other people.
And it did.
And it did, and
honestly,
it will.
And that's why I wrote the book.
Good.
Is because
So why aren't you promoting it?
All
right, well, this is your action step then, because this could be your business. It really could. It really could.
I put that to the side, and what I'm trying to create instead, because I thought, oh no, book, it's done, whatever. It was a target.
A book is a collection of your intellectual property. It's a marketing device. A book is a business. I mean, look at all my guests on London Real. Their books are their business. Your book is a business. A book can survive for 5 or 10 years. People write a book and they promote it for 5 years, and it promotes their business. So you have a great asset. So that your final affirmation I want you to say every day is that I am a gratitude expert, and I am here to change thousands of lives with my ideas. I want to empower women, if you want, it's up to you, to become the best versions of themselves, come out of their shells, be grateful, and live abundant lives. Why don't you go fix all the Yasmins in the world? Okay? And that means you need to be the leader. So when you wake up in the morning, you need to lead all of those Yasmins, which means you have to step up and get out of all of your self-doubts and put on the brave face and show them who they want to become. This is perfect for you. you know, because that means you have to become the best version of yourself. It's what I had to do with London Real. That's why I like this show so much. It's a lot of pressure, but it means I have to show up every day, even when I don't feel like showing up. Some days I don't feel like putting on a suit, Yasmin. Some days I don't feel like coming on and talking in front of camera. But I do it because so many people depend on me.
Yeah.
And guess what? Then I become the best version of myself. So I think you need to use this book and your future community. There's a lot of people that would look after you to make sure you show up, because you need accountability. And I don't necessarily have time to make you accountable, but you need to find people to hold you accountable. So
true.
this is the solution. So let's do this. And you might say, I don't know if there's money in gratitude. Guess what? There's probably $100 million in gratitude if done right. Now, is project management safer? Yeah, but gratitude might make you a better person. London Real has made me a better person. Banking would have made me more money,
Right.
but I would literally give all of that money away just to have my experience at London Real, because it's made me the better person and a happier person and a more engaged person. Right. Same with you. I think we should choose this gratitude path for you, because that's going to take you where you want to go, and it'll make you such a better person. So why don't we move forward with this? All of your affirmations, loving yourself, the gratitude book, step up as a leader. Everyone's watching you, and teach these people what you know, and then become that person along the process.
I'm so blown away, because the accountability, I didn't have the word for it. I just saw it like hiding. But when you said, my brain just went on like fire, because I thought that's what I do. Because I keep writing, I keep saying, I hide a lot. And it's amazing that you found that word. It literally is, if you drew me, it'd probably be pasted across the thingy as a banner, like accountability, because I hide.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to do is I was trying to avoid talking about the book, about gratitude. And I was going to say to you, my business, I want to help people get out of debt. And just the sheer way things work, that you would help direct me back to what's impacted me the most. Debt has as well, getting out of debt.
Yeah.
Hence the simple heresy. But it's
Yeah.
amazing how you brought what I was trying to avoid.
Okay, well, I can feel it in you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean in the future we can't also teach people about debt as
Right.
well. But for
Right.
now, I think that's important. And the accountability is key. It's so important, and that's why in my academy I hold everyone accountable, and that's the only reason we get results. And
Right.
sometimes, I'll tell you one last secret, Jasmine. Sometimes it's the accountability that's the most important part of the journey. Building the business that makes $100,000 is actually not that important, but holding them accountable to become a better person every day, that's the real value. And I like to hide too. Now, you think I don't. I actually like to hide, and I was hiding for 40 years of my life before London Real. London Real means I can't hide anymore. And I forced myself to be accountable to everyone that was watching. And I told them I'm going to do an episode every week, every Sunday, no matter what. This was my promise to nobody that was listening to London Real 8 years ago. True, October 2011. I said I promised to do one every week. And I don't even know who I was promising to. But it meant that I was going to fight all my demons and all my resistance and all my introversion and broadcast every week, even though I was horrible on camera and everything was bad. But I promised myself, and those people held me accountable, you know. And that's how I've been able to grow into this person I am today. So these people will make sure you're held accountable to your journey, and you need someone to watch you. That's most people's problem. They don't have anyone that holds them accountable, and usually their friends and family they let them slide.
Yes.
I'm sure your friends and family let you slide. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have demanded that you step up and stop all this nonsense, right? So I actually am going to be watching you, and I'm going to hold you accountable too. But I need you to create that group with your book and start teaching people. And I mean, honestly, one person can hold you accountable, 10 or 100. Even 100 followers on Instagram can hold you accountable, because you have to show up every day. Maybe you do your affirmations to camera every morning, you know, and put it out there and say, this is what I'm doing every day. This is part of my gratitude practice and my affirmation practice that I did with Brian. And at first it might be embarrassing to do the camera. I love you, Yasmin. I love everything about you. I love you. We're going to go out in the world today, in an abundant world where everything comes to me. I'm going to give lots of energy. I'm going to provide value to everyone around me. I'm going to bring out my feminine energy, because I know I got plenty of the masculine energy, and I'm not going to worry about what anyone says about me, because I know I'm going to help people. I'm telling you, saying that stuff every day is going to make a difference for you. Say it into social, lead this community, and I'm going to be reading about you in the newspaper in a year or two. Right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay. I need you to promise me you're going to take this action today, because otherwise I just wasted
promise.
30 minutes of my life.
No, mate, you didn't. I
Don't
promise
disappoint me.
That's the one thing you can count on me.
Okay.
If I'm given a goal,
All right.
I damn, especially when I promise to someone else.
All right, I want you to promise this, and I want you to promote this book. I want you to get people to read it, and I want you to build a community around it. This will be a game changer for you, okay?
I promise.
When I see people get emotional and cry, I like that, because where emotion comes action. You know, if you really feel that emotional about it, that's what's going to get you through the hard times. And there will be hard times. That's why I call it resistance training.
Right.
A week from now, something's going to happen, and you're going to be like, oh, Brian, I'm going to have to postpone my gratitude book and work
Yes.
only on project management. That's a bullshit excuse. I don't care what happens. I don't care if you lose your leg. I don't care if you get, you know, the Chinese flu. I want you to keep working on this, because that's the world trying to just see how bad you want it. And you're going to say, nope, Brian told me there would be resistance. I'm going right through this with my resistance training, and I'm going to accomplish my goal, and I'm going to win. And that's what I need you to do. I need you to win. Okay?
Yes.
Oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I got a lot
Thank
out of
you.
this. All right?
Me
I'm learning from
too.
you, too. All right? Give me a
Thank
hug.
you.
Let's do some great things. All right? Okay, cool. All right. Thank you so much. All right? And everyone here is going to hold you accountable as well. Hold Yasmin accountable. All right? We're going to post all your stuff on social. And let's do some great things, okay? All right, cool. All right, thank you for watching. If you want to come here and join me on Real Talk, we're doing these every week. Go to londonreal.tv/Real Talk. Fill out the survey, and hopefully I see you in here. And that's it. We're done for today. Thank you so much. Yeah? All right. Bye.
We're in a dark age. We've lost our compass. We don't know who we are. We don't know where we want to go. What is to be done?
It's going to take some consciousness change to get us out of the box we're in.
La maldición de ayahuasca, nosotros podemos conectar con esa persona y se da cuenta dónde está la raíz del problema de él. Pues ahí se trabaja.
Sometimes I feel anxious and unappreciative of the things I have.
There's no such thing as work-life balance. There are work-life choices, and you make them, and they have consequences.
What we don't understand about psychedelics is a very thick book. They can help you orient yourself morally, but look the hell out.
You don't always get what you want with ayahuasca, but you always get what you need.
The diseases of individual are the diseases of the world. Our culture's soul is severely wounded.
Humanitarian crisis growing by the day.
Global warming is the greatest fraud that's been perpetrated on mankind this century.
When you take these lessons in, it's kind of a process to make sure that it comes into yourself. Some of the hardest work is when you go home. Integration means bringing things into the whole person.
Maybe we should be considering that the depth of human experience is more than just material things and technology and our egos.
We all get stuck in a mold. That's what can happen with ayahuasca. You get that mold, and she fucking smashes it on the floor. Now, what are you gonna do? Now, who are you?
Heavens are collapsing. This is the time to change. If you want to raise human consciousness, there has never been a better time.
La ayahuasca nos fortalece nuestra mente, nos abre nuestra creatividad, nuestro amor, nos conecta uno a uno mismo.
Treno ayahuasca supai kuna chamuri diri mushamu. Siji siji majiji to chamuri diri.